Hi fight fans! Today in this video, former UFC middleweight title challenger Paulo Costa has shared his take on a potential title fight between Alex Pereira and Khamzat Chimaev, which the Chechen fighter has proposed to take place on January 21 at UFC 283 in Rio de Janeiro. Irish UFC fighter Ian Harry told a very funny story not long ago that he wanted to fight Chimaev in an elevator. He said that his wife called him for that he didn't have the guts to start a fight in an elevator. Also in this video, former UFC champion in two weight categories Conor McGregor and the former owner of the temporary promotion belt Dustin Pereira staged a Virgil skirmish on social networks. And at the end of this video, American MMA fighter and McGregor's friend Danis once again tried to insult former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. But for such things, it is quite possible that he will catch the famous slap from Khabib. So it will be very interesting. But while we are launching the video, I want to ask you to support our channel with likes and subscription. We have very little left to reach 40,000 subscribers, so thanks in advance. Chimaev wants to beat Alex in Rio, the Brazilian told Submission Radio. He is smart. I think if he fights Alex, he will be a problem for Alex because he doesn't have grappling skills. MMA is very different from kickboxing. I suppose the bets will be against Alex if the fight takes place, but I don't think he will lose because I don't believe that this fight will be organised. Costa recalled that a few weeks ago he tried to get a middleweight fight with Chimaev, but Boers showed no interest in this fight. I tried to get a fight with Chimaev. I called him a few weeks ago, but he said no. I'm still a welterweight, and I'm not going to middleweight. Now he sees a great opportunity to win the title easily. A few days earlier, Costa commented on the challenges that Chimaev posted to Pereira and Gilbert Burns as follows. If you are zero in grappling or under 170 centimeters tall, Chen wants to fight you, the Brazilian fighter wrote on the social network.
Hey, watch your back, man. I can't find you anywhere.
Recall that Alex Pereira, who owns the UFC middleweight title, accepted the challenge of Khamzat Chimaev but said that he was ready to hold it only in the light heavyweight category. Chimaev is the most uncomfortable opponent for the Brazilian. The fight with Israel Adesanya clearly demonstrated that Alex is helpless in the fight, and Khamzat has shown more than once that he is ready to strangle any opponent on the ground. A striking example is Boers' last fight against Kevin Holland. It took Chimaev a little more than 2 minutes to disarm his opponent, and Alex can hardly count on a lucky punch against such a skilled fighter. A potential duel could turn into a formal beating on the ground. Boers is well aware that a potential fight with Pereira could restart his UFC career for the better, and defeating the champion in his lair will make Boers a contender for the fattest fights in terms of fees. Therefore, Khamzat grabbed the opponent with a stranglehold, but Alex realizes that he is unlikely to be able to oppose anything against Chimaev's struggle. And losing the very first fight after winning the title, and even at home, can be crucial from the point of view of your entire future career.
Look, would I like to actually see the fight? Yeah, I would watch that fight, but it's not a smart fight. It's not a smart fight for the UFC right now. Although they are trying to push Khamzat, no matter if it's at welterweight or at middleweight. He didn't make weight for a welterweight fight. That's why he ends up in that middleweight matchup. That's not exactly the person you want to jump the line and put into a championship fight against a guy like Alex Pereira, who, look, wrestling is going to be his weakness. Stand up is his game. When he's fighting someone like an Izzy Adesanya, you can say that makes sense in that fight. If you're the UFC, why would you want a guy who just beat one of your superstars to lose right away? Doesn't make sense.
So let's see how the event will develop, and we will keep you informed. Irish UFC fighter Ian Garry told how he could fight with Khamzat Chimaev in an elevator. I will tell you a funny story about Khamzat, he said on the MMA On Point podcast. My wife and I entered the elevator, pressed the button, but then the doors opened, and Chimaev and his madam entered. I would love to fight him right there. My wife glared at me with her eyes like, come on, fight him. And I think the guys from my team should fight him tomorrow. When we got off the elevator, my wife looked at me and said, "You're a Harry told MMA On Point. Harry last fought against American Gabriel Green in July of this year as part of the UFC 276 tournament. In this confrontation, Ian won by unanimous decision. He has 10 wins and no losses. So if he continues to win further, I think that in the near future, he can fight Chimaev, but not in an elevator, but in a real octagon. And I think he did it right that he did not listen to his wife and did not fight with Khamzat. They were with their wives, and that would have been very wrong. But what do you think about it? Did he do the right thing by not going into conflict with Chimaev? Or maybe such conflicts are for a future battle, and for history, it would be better. Write your thoughts in the comments. And we move on. Former UFC champion in 2 weight categories Conor McGregor and the former owner of the temporary promotion belt, Dustin Poirier, staged a verbal skirmish on social networks. It all started when McGregor tweeted to Poirier about being hospitalised for a staph infection. "Get well soon, Mr. Dirty Panties." Dustin's answer was not long in coming. "Have you finished filming Roadhouse, or are you ready to get some cabbage soup again? I'm in Amsterdam, pumped up like Van Damme." You're not just shocked, my friend, you were terribly shocked. Don't forget that. I'm coming back to put you in a box whole. I will wipe you off the face of the earth forever and ever. Look forward to Roadhouse, you and your missus. We love it, McGregor concluded. And friend of McGregor, Danis, made another attack on former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. This time, Danis reminded the Russian of his statement about the ring girls. We will remind. Earlier, Nurmagomedov said that ring girls are the most useless thing in mixed martial arts. Danis and Khabib Nurmagomedov fought after the fight of the Russian with Conor McGregor. During the fight, the American insulted Khabib, which provoked a mass brawl. On the famous video, Khabib flew at Dylan and even managed to slap him, but as it turned out, this was not enough for him. He does not calm down and demands more. So I think for such jokes, he will soon be catching the famous slap from Khabib, because apparently he really wants it. So that's all for today, and if you like the video, I want to ask you to support our channel with likes and subscriptions. We have very little left to reach 40,000 subscribers, so thanks in advance.